doing, Miss Ellie? Let's try and pull Becky. Hey? Alright, I'm going to go get everyone done over here. Got a lot of things I need to do this morning. And it actually is quite windy, coming up windy. I'll get everything sorted. I need to clean out the round yard too. Ella's had a couple of days off now, so I'm going to see if I can do something with her today. Figure it out. And get this thing started up. Or if I can get it started up, I'm hoping I can. I may not be able to. But if I can't, I'll try and figure out a way to do it. And start getting back to slashing the things that need slashing and doing the jobs that are not getting done, that need to be done. So, that's what I do. Oh, morning, Henry. Look at the sky. Ready, bud? There we go. No, you don't need any, and I'm going to start working on you. Maybe in the afternoon I might bring you across, do some work with you. Miss Fire needs a lot more work done. I don't know if I have the energy to do it. Got your breakfast ready. I really love this evolution I got. I really enjoy it. Really. Okay, let's go and see the other ponies. Here's the boys. Morning, boys. You finished your breakfast, David? Because maybe might have. Billy. Billy, please. Billy boy. Billy boy. Like a scratch? Yes, I like a scratch. He enjoys a bit of a scratch. Good boy. Hope everyone's having a good morning or evening wherever you are in the world. It is Saturday morning here and it is 6:51 a.m. and the sun's coming up early now, so starting to get daylight earlier, which is meaning soon it'll be daylight savings time and the clock will go forward, so it'll be 7:51 now instead of 6:51. But the good thing will be that the earlier the daylight comes up, the quicker I can get up and get these things done and work with these guys. Get the horses ready for the day. And I'll have to be working at things pretty quickly today. I may actually come back. I've got to go into town. I may actually come back after and work with her later. Leave her in the round yard until I get back. But I'm going to head to town around about 9 o'clock and go and grab. I've got to buy some chicken food and I have to also buy some, get some medicine and some chicken food, and probably get a little bit more water so I don't run out of water in the next week, and do all that. Should be good. Oh yeah, hi, how you doing? Let me remember. Noor. Your name is Noor. Is it Noor? You live in India. And you live in a place where all the religions live in harmony. I can't remember the name of it, but you did tell me. Yeah, I remember. That was only a couple of days ago. Actually, I'm surprised I remembered all that. That's good. That's a good sign. Sometimes my memory is really great. And it gives me a bit more hope that it will get better. I think your memory can improve if you... I try to do memory improving things, exercises. I do a lot of puzzle things and stuff like that, just to try to remember. And I'll sometimes take a deck of cards and I'll just lay them out, flip them over, flip them all back, like shuffle them, lay them out, flip them over, flip them all back, and see if I can remember where things were. Most of the time I get it wrong, but sometimes I get on a streak and I can remember certain things. It's really good. It's going well, thank you. How about you? How are you doing? Ellie's being very forceful with her food bucket. She'll probably flip it over in a second. She tends to do that. Hope it's a good weather today over there. There's a few clouds over here, but it's the sun's starting to come out now, so it's nice. Oh, yeah. You need to go to bed now? Is it bedtime? I went to bed super early last night. I was asleep by about 7 o'clock. Yes, I watch them all the time, yeah. Yeah, I like to watch them eat their breakfast and spend time with them. It's nice. I just like being in their presence. They're very calming. Oh, she's just flipped it onto her breakfast. She'll knock that back off there in a moment. It's going well. Yeah, it's a bit cloudy today, but I don't think we'll get any rain. I hope not. If we do, I hope it comes late this afternoon because I need to be starting my tractor up and getting that going, and doing some slashing before any more rain turns up or any more weeds grow. And I did get in here the other day and mow all these weeds, but it didn't actually work too well. They've grown back immediately, so I need to get back and stuck into it and do it again. They seem to be growing super quick now because it's spring. That's the trouble here in spring. Everything grows so fast. It's like crazy for a month or so, and then everything dies again. So you'll have an abundance of grass, and then you'll have none. And it'll go back to dirt and dust. As a matter of fact, I'm going to leave you guys with the horses. I'm going to grab that mower and I'm going to quickly mow around these edges again while she's having her breakfast. It'll do her good anyway if I can get the mower to work. The mower was playing up. Right, all done. Okay. Oh, here, done with that. I'm not silly. Absolutely. You see, there are people who think that I'm silly and that I don't know what they're doing. I'm very aware of these people. They have a pattern of behaviour and they keep on repeating that pattern of behaviour. So they're very easy to identify. So I'll give them a couple of days, and then once I've given them a couple of days to heal themselves, then it's bye-bye. I won't waste my time on those kinds of people. I don't like people who play games with people, pretending to be other people and pretending to do things. That kind of behaviour is childish and stupid. If you have something you'd like to say, then just spit it out and say it. But I won't spend any more time. I've already been very clear about this. I won't spend time on people who are narcissistic, selfish, and avoid consequences and avoid having to deal with their own behaviours. I will not waste time on those people any further. So go make another profile and pretend to be something else. That's okay. You can do what you like. I hope you got your children back. I hope you're doing everything to get your children back, but I highly doubt that for some reason. I feel for those children. That's what I do. I feel sorry for those children. I know exactly what it feels like to be children whose parents couldn't give two shits about them. And they're too busy being selfish to actually do the right thing by their own kid. So, my lawnmower. Oh. Anyway, try again. Try again. You'll probably come back and you'll probably be very rude and you'll probably say some very nasty things because you probably don't like the fact that I will call you out on your behaviour. That's okay. You're immature. I understand why you behave like a child. It doesn't mean I have to put up with or tolerate it. I can be very kind, but there is a limit of me tolerating certain types of behaviour, and I won't tolerate those behaviours any further. So, just like I won't tolerate it from the animals. If I did, I'd be dead. If I let Ellie just run all over me, I wouldn't be alive. So, go and visit your kids. Spend more energy on your children. Go get some help. You likely won't, but I'm just saying to you, if you want to improve your life, if you're wondering why people don't deal with it, it's because people don't need to or want to deal with grown adults that act like children. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of energy, and it's just not productive because you don't learn. Unlike children who actually will go and learn something, the grown adult children don't learn. They stay in their cycle of what they stay in, and they have giant tantrums and they foam at the mouth and frolic on the floor, screaming and crying that everybody's against them. It's really themselves against themselves because they have the tools and the resources these days to get some help, but they choose not to. It's pretty sad. Anyway, enough of that. Go see your kids. Think about them. Consider what it's like to be in their position. And then act accordingly. Act adult. You'll find that you like yourself a lot more, and when you like yourself a lot more, you'll find that other people will like you as well. So, I wish you all the best. That's the trouble with YouTube. You get people who literally pretend to be other people, pretend to be things they're not. There's a lot of people on here that do that, and it can be disheartening for genuine people. It can be off-putting. And then, of course, the families of the people who have to actually live around these kinds of people, it's even harder for them because they see the actual true dynamic of what happens, and all the person's worried about is how many views they get and whether they're adored or what they deem as being respected on YouTube. To them, respect is somebody saying to them, wow, you're really good at something. That's not respect. It's called a compliment, but that's all that is a compliment. But these people that are seeking this validation through social media won't get it. You will not get it. It's not genuine. It's not to say that the comments might not be genuine. You might have somebody who is genuinely saying you're really good at this or you're really good at that or something nice, and that's fine. But the illusion of the fact of that's reality in your life is a big lie. People get caught up in a trap of believing that social media is real life, and it's not. Those people only see a glimpse of you. You could be the nicest person on the camera and be an absolute vile monster behind it. That's why cameras and videos, you should never trust a video. You should always trust what you know based on the behaviours you see. And if you're someone who lives with people with severe and chronic behaviours that are unreasonable, childish and silly, you soon learn that it gets very tiring. It can take a long time wishing and hoping that those things will change, but it will never change unless that person decides for themselves. And generally, if they haven't decided by the time they're about 20 years old, they're not going to. If by 20 you haven't got your shit together and you aren't doing the right thing, chances are you're going to be like that for the rest of your life unless you make a concerted effort. And that's one thing that childish people don't want to do. They don't want to make an effort. They're lazy. They're lazy in life, and they're lazy in their mental health and well-being. They're lazy about doing anything for themselves. They don't want to do anything. And it'll reflect. You'll see. They procrastinate. There'll be things that need doing, and they'll sit there for weeks on end going, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And they're secretly just waiting for someone else to take the reins and do everything for them, because they either feel inadequate or they are inadequate, one or the other. And there are two types of personalities. There's narcissistic personality and there is an avoidant personality, and sometimes there's both, and they're mingled in both. Both are very similar. One has intent to harm, the other apparently doesn't have intent to harm, yet they still do the same behaviours. They lie, they cheat, they do whatever they can do to get whatever attention they can get. They are never actually themselves. You won't really know who they actually are, which is pretty sad, because they don't have an actual self within themselves. What they have is a copying mechanism. It's like a photocopier. They'll blankly print out masks of other people's faces, and then they'll copy whatever anyone else is doing. You'll find that when you're around them, You'll say something and 2 or 3 days later they'll be saying the exact same thing that you've just said. But they'll be saying it's them that's doing it, or it's them that it's happening to, or it's them that's seen it. It'll be the exact same thing which you've done. It's called, well, I call it the chameleon complex. They have to blend in, so they have to learn from your behaviour in or able to be responsible to behave. And they can learn and mimic your behaviour, but that doesn't mean it's coming from a genuine place. It doesn't mean that they're actually capable of change. What that means is that they're capable of mimicking and acting. They're very good actors. They're very confident. They're very self-confident people. They have a lot of in the face, in the camera, in the face, in the camera, look at me, look at me. They're very much into themselves. And it's very sad because they'll portray themselves as these lonely victims that have nothing. And generally they have they've probably got a wife and kids. They've probably got a family that actually treats them really well, but they'll make out they're these hard done by people. And it's all a load of crap. It's all about them getting what they need. And if you're around them, or you give in, or you are lured in by them, you will learn very quickly. If you're smart enough, you'll learn very quickly that it's all manipulation. That's what they do, manipulate. It's a very sad way to live. It's a sad way to live for the person, and it's a sad way to live for the person that they're inflicting their behaviours upon, or the people they're inflicting their behaviours upon. It's not good. And unless they genuinely want to get themselves help, you can tell them till the cows come home, or you can ask them, can you please go and see someone? Can you please get some help? You know, this is really terrible, how you're behaving. Unless they're willing to do that, or they recognise that within themselves, which is very difficult for them to do, because they will hold a mirror up, they'll hold an actual mirror up and stare at their face all day long, but all they can see is their face. They don't see within themselves whatsoever. They can't see what they do to other people. They don't really care. All they're worried about is whether their needs are met. So the people around them keep trying to placate them and can't understand why they get nowhere. Why, when they're the ones who are doing all the work, the other person is getting all the attention and all the care, and you're doing all the work. It makes it very difficult. So you've got to focus on something else and ignore them, and do not help them. Don't go near them. Refer them to a counsellor, wish them the best, and leave it at that. That's all you can do. If you want to help anybody, help the people that they're stuck in relationships with them. Help their children or their partners to understand that it's not them who's the problem. It's not them who needs the help. It's not their fault that they've got a parent who's narcissistic or an avoidant person. It's not their fault that they get ignored. It is just how these people are, and they don't view people with any value because they can't value themselves. It's impossible for them to value somebody else. It's a hard lesson to learn, but once you know about it and you know what they're doing, it's very, very simple. It's like you flip a switch and you realise this is all manipulation. There is no, you're not going to wait for them to care about whether you or the children or anyone else is okay. They're not going to. You've already waited however many years. It might have been 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. You'll keep getting the same emptiness from them. It's emptiness. But they will demand every emotion you ever had is targeted on them in the best way possible. They'll demand all the care under the sun. And you'll drain yourself giving it to them. And that's what happens. It's very sad. It's a sad dynamic. You can still care about them, but not give them the attention, because if you give them the attention, all you're doing is feeding that ego, and they won't get help. They'll never get help whenever their ego's being fed. Let other people be responsible for that. You take care of healing yourself and getting into a better space. That's what you've got to do. And unfortunately, it's rampant now. There's a lot of young people that are this way, a lot of older people that are this way too, but it seems to be everywhere now. They all need to go and work with a therapist and work with some things that don't give them, work with some horses maybe. Horse doesn't care less, couldn't care less about your past. It cares about what you're doing in front of it right now. And if you do the wrong thing, it'll kick your ass. And that's how it should be. Breaking a pattern of attention-seeking behaviours that are unhealthy, extremely unhealthy. And the sense of entitlement that those kinds of people have is unbelievable. They're entitled to everything. They think the whole world should bow down and just do everything for them, and it's not. The world shouldn't have to do anything for you. You should do for yourself. And if you can't, then ask for some help to be able to do for yourself. Learn and grow. You know, if they would only see that life isn't as bad as they think it is, that if they also genuinely became somebody who actually gave two hoots about anybody other than themselves, that they'd actually be a lot richer in happiness. They'd feel a lot better about themselves, because when you genuinely care and give to others, it is not only reciprocated, but it also nourishes you and your soul and makes you feel a lot more healthier within yourself. But when you care about people that are all about themselves, it will not nourish you. It will leave you feeling ill. You'll feel sick. You'll feel drained. You will be confused about everything, and you will not do well. Once you stop feeding their ego, you start to repair, and then you start to realise that they can't help what they do, in the sense that they're aware of what they do, but they're in such a behaviour, entrenched in such a behaviour, that they cannot help themselves. They just continue it. And until everybody basically leaves them in the dust and they have nobody but themselves to reflect upon, then they're really never going to be able to see how they affect other people. And it can be hard to do. You can feel sorry for them. You can feel very sorry for people who are like this. What the bird's doing? She's watching the birds. The birds are going, all having a big fight. She says, what you fighting about? Oh, she's watching them. Like the birdies. Rosellas. She's got the rosellas over the back there. Two rosellas there. There's a couple on the other tree. Mating pairs. Getting ready for the day. Very sad, superficial world. And, you know, this is the thing. Their ego won't last them they'll become more and more bitter because they get old. They get old, and then all the things that they've done and said to other people, calling other people names and calling other people fat and ugly and all sorts of things that they do, picking on people, and yet they're the ones who'll say, I'm being picked on. No, you're not being picked on. People are responding and reacting to your behaviour, and they're not tolerating you. It's not being picked on. There's a difference. You're behaving a certain way and people are reacting to it, and they're not tolerating it. And then these people internalise that and say, I'm being picked on. No one likes me. Well, think about the behaviour that you do, and if somebody did that to you, you wouldn't really like them very well, would you? So you've got to look at that and say, well, hang on a minute. Oh, I can see why people don't like me. Maybe I need to change something. And that's true growth. But that will only come when they want to learn and they want to grow. And it may never come. Most cases it never does. Maybe only 3 or 4% of people who have those kinds of personality traits will ever take accountability for the things that they do. It will always be somebody else that caused the problem. And in the meantime, they leave all these other people sitting there questioning themselves and going, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? But you've got to look at the actual behaviour, and then you can see very clearly that you see where it comes from. So it's really getting them to self-reflect. It's handing them an actual internal mirror of the soul and saying, this is how you are. This is how you behave. This is how I see you with your behaviour. And this is probably why you might attract people and then they'll just run from you, because the behaviour is not becoming, nor is it a behaviour that a grown adult should have. It's very childish and very petty. They get very spiteful, they're very angry. They really dislike anybody who does anything that is better than what they do. They get very jealous. They're very jealous people. They're very insecure, which is a sad place to be. There's a lot of different ways that people are insecure. A lot of people have insecurities, but the people with these kinds of traits that are all about themselves, their insecurities run far deeper than other people's do and can be pretty messy inside their head, and really does take a lot of work with the right kind of professional people to be able to sort of work with them and get them to a state where they can actually function. And you would hope for that. You would hope for that for them. A lot of people just say, oh, they deserve what they get. But I would hope for them that they get some help and actually have some joy in their life, because I think it's very sad that they don't have real, true, lasting joy. They have 5 minutes of fame, fleeting joy, until they realise that all the likes and thumbs ups and things like that, apart from getting you monetised and maybe helping you with whatever it is you need to do financially, all of those are really just not, they're not a reflection of you, they're a reflection of somebody else's. I like watching something. You want to reflect on yourself and take a good look at what you do, not on the camera, what you do around other people, what you do in front of people, how you treat people, what you do behind people's backs, how you perceive things, how you project your own behaviours onto other people. And if you can't look at those things because you just don't want to, because you're a selfish person, then maybe just don't expect that people are going to be lasting long in your life, unless you get a really special person who's got a lot of empathy and a lot of patience. But even then, that wear out eventually, and you will find yourself with nobody wanting to be around you at all. Except maybe your relatives who'll tolerate you for a while. But if you do those behaviours with them, they'll probably tell you to piss off real quick as well. So that's how it goes. Very sad. What's even sadder is the mess they leave behind, and they do nothing to try to reflect on themselves or to make any attempt to try to fix anything that they've done. They just make excuses. for everything that they've done. You made me do it, it's all your fault. This is how they behave. Imagine once the whole world's full of them. It's going to be a collapse of society. Nothing will be done. Maybe a good thing the age of robots coming in and doing everything is coming, because all these kinds of people, if the world was left in their hands, the world would be destroyed very quickly. And you can't save them and you can't fix them. There's nothing you can do. All you can do is be honest with them and reflect back to them their own behaviour. And when they try to blame things on you, you just reflect it back to them and say, listen, I know you want to avoid yourself, however, we both know that this is what the truth is, and if you're not willing to accept that, then I'm not going to deal with you any further, and just leave them in their own game, because it's all a game. It's all about a manipulation game. They'll hate you. They'll definitely hate you because you're going to tell them the truth. But that's the thing. I would rather tell someone the truth and never speak to them again, but leave them with that thought and have them go, I'm never talking to you again, I'm running away, I'm doing whatever. I'd rather say, okay, goodbye. Then lie to them and increase the delusions of grandeur and ego, and encourage the avoidance. Not helping them, you're enabling them. If you truly care about them, the best thing you can do is do not tolerate their behaviour, direct them to a therapist, and leave them to their own devices. You watch and see what they do. When you find out what they do, when you see the behaviours, then you'll understand what you're really dealing with. If there are somebody who can ever be non-selfish, or if they're just going to always be that selfish person. They will go to great lengths to display that they are not selfish. They will use other people and other people's problems to make out they're trying to be helpful. And they'll do a lot of things. There's a lot of trickery involved with them in order to sort of make a display for the rest of the people, to lure people into believing that they're this great thing. And they are very good at it. They're very good at begging, they're very good at asking for money, they're very good at asking for time, they're very good at doing the nobody likes me, please pay me attention. It just keeps happening with them. That's what they do. A normal-minded person with a healthy mind doesn't need to seek that kind of validation. They don't need to use other people's disasters to promote themselves. They don't get happy when there's a disaster happening. They don't enjoy problems. They get up off their ass and they deal with the problem and they do what they've got to do. Even when it's hard, even when they don't feel up to it. That's what a normal person does. A healthy person who thinks clearly and healthily and has boundaries. So these days, you really want to be around people who have clear boundaries, who stick to their boundaries and do what they say they're going to do. If they say, I'm going to do this, they do it. If they say that and they don't do it, maybe give them one benefit of the doubt, and then if they don't do it again, if they say they're going to do something again and they don't do it the second time, then you need to really consider their character and say, well, hang on a second. There's always an excuse. There's always a reason why. And sometimes it may be that there is a legitimate reason, but oftentimes, if it's consistently happening, that they get out of things, it's either they're manipulating their way out and they're making things certain ways so they can get out of things, or they're just plain lazy and don't want to do anything and are waiting for you to do it or someone else to do it. They use people up, and when they have no more further use for you, they spit you out. And you matter not to them, you never did. It's all manipulation. They're in workplaces, they're in schools, they're in your households, they're everywhere. And it's quite an epidemic actually at the moment. Sad, sad, sad. And people don't want to talk about them or deal about them because it's a lot of work dealing with them. People don't want to hear about them. They don't want to hear because they don't want it to be, maybe they're recognizing something. They don't want it to be true. Maybe they're recognizing something within themselves and they don't want it to be true. So they don't want to learn about it. So oftentimes it gets dismissed as, oh, that poor person, everything's just too hard for them. No, they, 9 times out of 10, they're sitting there laughing at you. Or they're watching you do the work. They're sitting there laughing, going, ha ha ha, here we go. I've got an idiot who just believed everything I said and look what's getting me. That's the sad reality of them. You don't even want to believe that that's how they behave, but that is how they behave. So, you just got to be careful. And like I said, if you do meet somebody who is very selfish and very into themselves and very much a personality that could be a narcissist or an avoidant personality, just refer them to somebody. Say to them, go and see somebody. Go and see a psychologist, psychiatrist. Get yourself looked at and diagnosed. Have a talk. If they're constantly having issues, refer them to a professional help. Because that's going to help them. You trying to help them, it will not work. You're not qualified to, and nor should you even try. Because if you try to, you may get yourself into a world of stuff that's not good. And then you will be in a bad way. And it's very hard to get out of that bad way. You've really got to work hard to get out of those situations. So you've got to be careful. I think the saddest thing is that when there are children involved and they have children and the children are left to stew, waiting for somebody to acknowledge them, the attention all goes on the parent, who is the look at me. They'll say, well, I love my children. Well, then you do the actions that prove that you love your children. Or they'll say, I love my husband, or I love my wife. Then do the actions that show it. Don't go looking for the next idiot that's going to listen to your crap. Grow up. The next person will probably last 5 seconds with you and see you for what you are very quickly and put you in your place, and then you'll be back where you started again, with nothing again. It's very sad. The children should come first, every time, above anything. especially when they're young children. They should be coming above anything. They're vulnerable. They're vulnerable, and they will take it upon themselves that things are their fault when things go wrong. And if you're not there, an emotionally present parent, they will live with that for the rest of their life, and it will damage them. And there'll be no fixing it. It'll be like a horse that gets damaged that it can't be fixed. Very sad. But don't be surprised if you do encounter these kinds of people, if those kinds of people don't change, because it's very rare that they do. And they certainly won't change because you've asked them to. They might go and do the things that you suggest. And they might even pretend they're changing, but you've got to watch them for a very long period of time. There has to be consistency in their changes of behaviour. If there's not, then it's like people who give up smoking, but they go and have a puff every couple of hours and then say, well, I've given up smoking, but I'll go and hide behind a brick wall and have a cigarette maybe once every couple of days. They're not really giving it up. They're just hiding what they're doing to make people believe they're giving it up. If they can't cut it off and behave and stop smoking when they've told you that's what they're going to do, then there's no trust there. You can't trust that. Be able to trust people. You can't trust somebody. If your word is no good and you can't stick to your word and do the things you say you're going to do, then you're really not someone that can be trusted with anything, really. And if you do say you're going to do something and then you can't do it, then man up and own up to it and say, look, I can't. I just can't. Don't make pathetic excuses. Tell the truth about why you can't. I can't because I feel lazy. I can't because I don't want to. Be honest about it. Don't make up some big cock and bull story of why you can't because your uncle's sister's brother has some kind of issue and you need to be available in case something happens. This is what they do. Instantly there'll be a disaster when they're asked to do anything about anything. That's how it happens. It's just pattern after pattern of behaviour. You see, everyone who knows me knows that every morning I'm going to be out there. There's people that drive past me every single day. They're going on their way to work. They all know who I am because I'm out there consistently every single day. When I go missing, if I'm not there, people will call me and say, somebody was worried about you because you weren't outside doing your horses. Where were you? Because they know I'm consistent. And if, say, I had to go to the hospital and stay a night and they don't see me out there, they would be concerned because they know I'm consistent. I'm somebody who does what I'm doing every single day. I do my routine. I don't falter from it unless I'm really ill. There's a consistency there. People notice a pattern. That's why when people go missing and stuff, people will say, well, how do you know that they're just not missing because they want to be? Because there's consistency in their life. They're consistent. There's someone who always does the same pattern with what they're doing. They get up every day, they, make their bed, they do this, they do that. There's little nuances that we all have. But with people who are egotistical, they can have some consistencies with some things, but often it's chaotic consistency. It's never really truly consistent. There's always something that has to be, something happening, and oh, I'm just doing this, or I'm just having to do that because I've got to do this or I've got to do that. But it's always at a convenient moment when they've been asked if they can either help or do a chore or something like that. That's when they will bring these things out. They'll sit for weeks on end with nothing happening in their life, and then whenever they're asked to do something that they should be doing, and they shouldn't have even had to have been asked to do, they should have just done it, there will all of a sudden be a reason why they can't do it. It's a personality. It's not going to change. The only way it'll change is if they have to fend for themselves completely. They have to do everything for themselves completely. And those of us who have consistency, we know that we can do everything by ourselves because we're already doing it generally. If you're around an avoidant personality and a narcissistic personality, you're usually the one doing everything. So you already know that you're self-sufficient. You know what you're capable of because you do it every day. You have consistency. It's the same with horses. They've got to be consistently in work. Unless they're a really, 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 really rare gem of a horse, they need consistency or they will procrastinate and refuse to do things. I'm actually needing to get more consistent with what I'm doing with these horses because I haven't really been consistent doing what I need to do. I've been all over the place with this because I'm afraid of doing things. I'm afraid to do things. I'm scared I'm going to get hurt and trampled on or kicked or bucked or something might happen. And it's all because I had the accident. If I didn't have the accident, I would have been probably out riding her all over the town by now. But this is where I need to be either consistently working with her, at least 3 days a week of something going on. At least 3 days, minimum of 3, if not daily. To try to just get that consistency back and eliminate the fear and the anxiousness that I have around these animals, and get myself where I'm actually trusting my own instincts again with this anxiety to say, well, hang on, it's good to have a very healthy fear. But when you have a fear that's irrational and unhealthy, it makes things very, very difficult to navigate. So a healthy fear is something like, okay, I'm getting on a horse. There's a very high risk in getting on a horse, and everybody knows that. Horse is a flight animal. But I've done this, and this to eliminate any problems. So therefore, there's a good chance nothing's going to happen. It's a pretty good day. Let's go ahead and do it. Or you could get up there and it could be windy. There could be lightning in the background, thunder. And you could say, well, this is a very high risk. This is a volatilely high risk. I'm not going to get up and do this. I'm not going to get on this horse and do this. And that would be a very smart thing to do to avoid that kind of an environment. Really is all about having that discerning, the ability to discern between an actual real risk and a perceived risk that may be over the top. So this is where I have a lot of trouble. This is where I go to therapy to try to eliminate that anxiousness that I have, that working with these guys gives me. And doing pretty much anything gives me. I've been a very anxious person for many, many years. But I'm finding that now that I'm sort of like looking at things as, you know, do I really want to do these things? Do I really want to keep riding? Or would I like to change and do something different? Would I like to maybe just do groundwork only? Maybe I don't want to do anything. Maybe I just want other people to ride and I want to teach people to ride. Maybe I'd be better off doing that. So I'm going through a phase right now where I'm thinking about all these things and I'm trying to make up my mind what it is I need to do. So I'm doing a bit of everything and I'm kind of testing the waters. Some days I think I'm never going to ride again, and other days I think, yep, I'm going to ride forever. I'll never stop, even with the risk. But I think you've just got to be very careful about how you approach it, and you've got to weigh up the risks in a rational way, not an emotional way, in a rational way, and give yourself the best chance and the best option for things to go well. And then when you do that, you do end up in a better mental way, being able to get on or do something. Like the other day, I wasn't going to get on her the other day. She was playing up. She's been playing up quite a bit lately. She's in a tug of war with the other horses. She's at the bottom of the pecking order and she's testing. And those times can be pretty dangerous with her. So I have to really decide within myself. She knows I'm anxious, so she can play on those things at times. Sometimes she will and sometimes she won't. But she can play on my anxieties. And she could be very much, doing a play on that. And it can be really putting both of us in a position of where there's a power struggle that you don't want to have with a horse. Because what you want is them to work with you, not against you. So being a younger horse, it's a lot of work. I have another one down the back who is really dreadfully afraid of everything. She's an anxious horse, and I'm trying to work with her at the moment. I'm going to have to bring her back into the round yard and work with her soon. But I'm going to give this girl till around 9 o'clock. I'm wondering, actually, she'll be finished eating soon. I might even come back in about half an hour and do a bit of work with her and then go. I've got to be out of here. I've got to be out of here by midday. I've got to be out of here by 11 a.m. So I'll probably go. I'll probably ride her first because it's going to be too hot otherwise. So I'm going to leave her for about half an hour, maybe an hour. And then I'm probably only going to do half an hour with her. Get some work happening with her and see how I go. And whether I get on or not is, well, we'll find out at the time. I can't tell you right now because I don't know. So at the moment she's having brekkie and she's in a nice state. She's very happy. So I'm going to head off now and go and do this. I've actually been on here for a long time. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we can come back out and do some work with her soon. If the wind doesn't pick up too much, it's getting a bit windy. We'll see how we go. Try not to procrastinate today and try to do something with her at least. Get the work happening and get myself into a good headspace. So her and I are gelling in a good way. And I know her feet are all really good. She just had the farrier out yesterday. She was really good for him. Everything's good there. He said her feet are fantastic. There's no issues whatsoever. Got a couple of surface cracks, but nothing to worry about, so that's good. And I'll get some time in with her. And then later this afternoon I may bring the pony over. I'm actually petrified of the pony more than I am of any of them. She's one who'll kick. She'll spin on a dime and kick you. The farrier went to go with her yesterday and she just wasn't having a bar. But I'm going to bring her in here where she's got work areas. She understands this is a workspace, so hopefully when I bring her in here she'll work with me. And I'm just going to have to work at her over and over again with a lot more consistency than I've been doing. And when I show Fire and how she is, people are probably going to be like, whoa, okay. Like the farrier said to me, and my chiropractor said to me, with the horse chiropractor that comes out, don't be too harsh about things on yourself, because and I get this, just like people, there are personalities with horses, and there are horses that there is nothing you can do. No one on the planet can do a darn thing to correct behaviour with them or change them. They're just either going to be a horse that's difficult, or they're going to be a horse that's easy. And it's whether or not you want to spend your time working with a difficult horse, or whether you want to spend your time just being in a joyous state with a nice quiet horse. I've had beautiful horses over the years that have been so easy to work with. So when you get the ones that aren't easy to work with, it is a lot more work, but if you're someone who enjoys a challenge, it's a lot more rewarding as well. But it may be repetitious. It may be that you have to do this for the rest of the horse's life. It's just whether you value that relationship enough to keep doing that, or whether it's too much for you, and physically it may be too much, and mentally it may be too much. You may not really want to waste your time being with a horse that is belligerent and has a lot of issues, but all of them have their quirks, and there's no such thing as a perfect horse, and you should never expect them to be. It's like there's no such thing as a perfect person. You should never expect them to be, but it doesn't mean you have to put up with the behaviour. And if you're trying to correct the behaviour with a horse and the horse still doesn't want to work with you, and you've gone right back to the very basics, if you're going through trainer after trainer after trainer, which is what often happens. You know, people see these videos by all these top trainers, Clinton Andersons and all this kind of thing, and he may get them to do something because he's new and he's in the picture, but what they don't show you is a follow-up a year later or 6 months later. You never see a follow-up a year later or 6 months later. I'd like to see the follow-ups, what's really happening later on, because what you'll probably find in 90% of the cases is there's a bit of an improvement, but the horse is still the same horse. It'll still test, it'll still push. It's just that the person now understands and has a way of working with that. They're understanding how to better work with it. It's like working with somebody who has behavioural issues. I did that for a living for years and years and years, and I'll tell you now, when you're working with those kinds of people, if you don't have the right tools and you don't understand what it is you're working with, it's a horrible job. But when you have the right tools and you have the capacity to understand what you're working with, not take it personally, and deal with it appropriately, it can be a very rewarding job. What you really have to understand is they are who they are inside. The horses are who they are inside. Other horses accept and know that. They don't try to change them. What they do is they say, well, you stay out of my space. They correct them so that they learn to behave around that other horse. They can be silly all they want out in the paddock doing whatever the hell they want. But around that other horse, they need to be respectful. If they don't, they'll get a hiding. And Ellie is learning that constantly because she pushes the boundaries. She gets a good kicking nearly on a daily basis by Zara. Zara gives her a hiding because she doesn't learn. She's slow to learn. She's slow with everything. She's a lazy personality, and she likes to stir the pot. So she is a bit of a troublemaker. But because she's young, I'm expecting her to mature a little bit better and slow down a little bit, not be quite as antagonising as she is, but I think she will always be an antagonistic horse with other horses. It's just her nature. You've got to work with that. Zara's the same. Zara is 16 years old. Zara does not like other horses showing her up. If you're out riding with other people, she has to be in front. If she's not, she throws a tantrum. It's just her. So what I do is I say, no, Zara, who's the leader? I'm the leader. I make myself the leader. And then when we're out, if she tries that stuff, I make her go behind everybody else. And it's a humbling experience for her. But she does settle after a bit. She'll settle down and she'll go, okay. because I'm the leader over her, she has to listen to what I'm saying. So as long as she believes I'm the leader, she does listen and she does do, and she'll do what I ask. You get other horses sometimes that are like that, and if you're not the leader, they'll just push past everything you say and do. Ellie's a little bit like that. She wants to be the leader of everything. She's very stubborn. She's feeling her way and trying to get herself in a position where she is top dog. And she may get there at one point or another. When she does, then whoever's around her working with her, the human that's working with her, is going to have to pay better attention to what's happening, because it may change the dynamic when she becomes top dog in the horse paddock. It may change everything. She may be a little bit harder to work with for a while. But it takes things back to basics, and you work with them on a horse like her. You've got to work with them on their terms. Not push, push, push. You've got to give a bit of space, a bit of time. You've got to know when you push, when to push and when to release. And it can be a tricky game. That's why you need a lot of patience. Alright guys, I'm going to head off. I'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much for hanging around, and thanks to the people who said hi, and thanks to the people who gave the thumbs up. Helps with the algorithm. Have a lovely day. Bye for now. Take care.